Hello and welcome to the Vital Blend. My name is Anthony and I'm glad you could be here for this episode. I'm going to be talking about why we enjoy food, why we crave it, why we may become addicted to it. It's not just a matter of, oh, it tastes good. There's a reason why we enjoy the taste, and I'm going to talk about this. You know, when I share this kind of info with my clients, they really appreciate it because it helps them to make better choices. You know, case in point, I was just working with Jen, and she was nice enough to write me this. She says, one of the most powerful things Anthony helped me understanding was the changes in the brain and cravings when it comes to calorie-dense foods. You see, it's important to understand that whenever we experience pleasure, our brain creates this hormone called dopamine. It's this neurotransmitter that hits the reward center of our brain. It's there to reinforce certain behaviors that can mean our survival, like finding enjoyment in eating food, because we need to eat food for the calories, which means survival. And of course, we get this pleasure hormone from other things too, like falling in love or even shopping at 4 a.m., right? So when it comes to food and pleasure, it's important to understand that the more calorically dense a food is, the more dopamine that our brain produces, okay? So let's take a look at the calorie density chart. I've showed you this before, but you know, say you take a pound of non-starchy vegetables, all right? You're gonna have 100 calories wrapped up in that pound of vegetables. Now, what if you take a pound of fruit? You're gonna have 300 calories, okay? And so you've got a higher concentration of calories in the fruit. Of course, you'd say, well, this fruit is sweeter. Well, yeah, there's a reason why it is. The concentration of calories makes that possible. Now, look what happens when we go up the chain, you know, 400 calories a pound for potatoes and corn and oats. You know, what do we call like mashed potatoes? We call that comfort food, right? Because it's very comforting to us. And we go up the chain some more with rice and pasta. People love that, 500 calories a pound. Beans and legumes, 600 calories. With the exception of avocados and nuts and seeds, most of the plant kingdom is under 600 calories a pound. That is what our taste buds, this is what these neurotransmitters and dopamine are based on. It's based on the real world, what you find in nature. But look at what happens when we introduce the man-made foods, okay? Ice cream, 1,200 calories a pound. So now we've gone from the natural world, 600 calories, let's say, to now we're in the unnatural world of 1,200 calories, and we're just getting started. I like to call this the twilight zone of food, because we're starting to see things that have unnatural calories, and we start to get these unnatural cravings, these unnatural urges. And so there was one episode of The Twilight Zone where this guy had 3 eyes, you know, and in the twilight zone of food, we have the trifecta of salt, sugar, and fat in one place. You see, because in nature, there are no single foods that contain salt, sugar, and fat. They, you know, we know that fruits have sugar, and vegetables are known for having sodium, and nuts, seeds, avocados, coconut, known for having fat. But you won't find anything with, you know, those 3 in one package, let alone a pair. Like you won't find anything with salt and sugar, salt and fat, any of that. So this is all man-made stuff, and this is the introduction of cravings, right? This is why you love an ice cream cone, and it only gets worse as we go up the chain. I mean, we love bread and bagels at 1,600 calories a pound. We got cheese, and people put cheese on the bagels, you know, and it keeps getting worse. You know, we got sugar. We know people how they love sugar. Chocolate, 2,500 calories a pound. And of course, when we get to oil, 4,000 calories a pound, the most calorically dense food you could possibly eat, oil. Our old friend, I've talked about oil many, many times, and this is why people love oil. Now, what's interesting is that you don't love oil by itself. You know, try drinking oil by itself. You'll probably throw up down your shirt. Like, you're not going to love it, but you do love it when it's added to all your favorite foods, right? So how is that possible? What's going on there? Well, what you really love is the mouthfeel, that fatty mouthfeel, especially when it's added to things that have salt and sugar. And when I was doing the research for my book, I read this book called Salt, Sugar, Fat by Michael Moss. And in the book, he goes into this fascinating deep dive about the food industry and how they formulate foods so that you want them and you crave them. And this is a great little passage that I'm going to read to you from the book about mouthfeel. Here is what he says. Now, he's talking about potato chips here, but he says it starts with the coating of salt, which the tongue hits first, but there is much more inside the chip. They are loaded with fat, which gives them most of their calories. It also delivers the sensation called mouthfeel the moment they are chewed. As food scientists know, fat in the mouth is not like oil in the hand. It is a marvelous sensation which the brain rewards with instant feelings of pleasure. Now, this is why when you go to restaurants, there's oil and everything. Now, of course, the guys running the restaurants, they don't know probably about the brain chemistry thing, but they know that people love having oil in their food, and they know that it helps bring customers back. And of course, this is why there's oil in everything practically at the supermarket. Now, the food companies making those products, as I just showed you, they know exactly why the oil is in there, because they want you to be a loyal brand consumer to keep coming back for more. And what happens is you consume all this high-calorie, addictive stuff, unnatural calories, unnatural cravings. These foods are low in water, low in nutrients, low in fiber. They make you acidic, they make you toxic, they make you sick, they clog your arteries, they give you type 2 diabetes, they give you obesity, they give you all these issues. And this all doesn't have to be. And this is something that I explain to people, and they appreciate it. They like to know that they're getting played with. They like to know that their brain chemistry is getting messed with. And it also helps them to understand that unless they get away from these calorie-dense foods that are messing with their taste buds, they're never going to fully appreciate the tastes of natural garden foods, because your palate is hypersensitized to all these high-calorie man-made foods, which is why it's so important to get away from these foods so that your taste buds, they become used to the natural flavors that are in food. And so I hope that you have found this information helpful. I know that it helps a lot of the people that I work with. It ultimately helps them to make better food choices. And so if you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up, and be sure to subscribe on YouTube as well. Follow me on Facebook. And also, if you want to work with me, I would love to work with you. Just check my contact info below. I offer a free 1-hour consult. And let's talk about what you're struggling with and what it would take to get you there. All right, so until next time, I want you to love yourself, because that's where it all starts. And I want you to eat more plants, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care.